I was going to go through like a slideshow of the presentation that we do on a when I attend um, a sales consultation, if you like, or meeting a vendor for the first time. But I think because we're all friends here now, we all know each other. I'm not going to put you through that. So I think I want to give you. Well, we've talked about background and where we come from. The last time I did a presentation, I talked about myself. I think from the age of 18 to 50, and told you everything from owning race horses to being a bingo caller to whatever. So the background is quite vast in that respect. But I suppose the main core of that is that I worked at the Institute of Customer Service as a business development manager, and they are the not-for-profit organisation in the UK that deal in all the qualifications in customer service. So they work with the likes of turned around, I suppose, a lot of the likes of British Gas and BT, who had really poor reputations over the years, and help them cultivate their frontline staff to be take ownership of problems and become customer centric, really, more than just picking up the phone, answering a question and putting the phone down again. And from that, obviously, even though I've always felt that I've been part of steeped, if you like, or ingrained with customer service, that really put the understanding of why it's important that at the end of the day, as you said there, Graham, who pays your mortgages, who pays for your holidays? It's your clients. So if you look after them, then the business will come to you fourfold, hopefully. So how did I get into lettings? Very briefly, I probably touched on this before. On my son's second birthday, I met a guy called Carl Temmie, who owns Temmie English in Colchester, which is an estate agent. And I was a landlord then. I owned 2 properties in Colchester, and I was talking to him about lettings, and he says, "Oh, you don't want to do lettings?" It's an absolute nightmare. I said, "But you don't do it then?" He said, No, we only do sales." I said, "Well, would you like me to start a lettings arm for you?" He said, "Well, if you want to." So that's what I did. So I became a cuckoo in their 4 offices, Basildon, Wickford, Colchester, and now Malden. And literally just had a desk in each one, moved around the offices for 2 or 3 years. And over that time, built up a portfolio of about 130 properties from their vendors, or from the sales of properties within their branches. They then referred landlords to me, and I took on their properties for them. In 2018, I then bought them out, so I then rebranded under my own JLPM Property Management, and took all the properties with me. And that portfolio now is 165. I think when I first started doing this a year ago, I was saying 150. So we've gone up 10% in a year, in a what really has been a poor year. To give you an insight on what that means, so 160 properties, 165 properties, is we collect about £150,000 worth of rent a month. We obviously manage those properties, and we generally work on the case that we have about 10% of tasks going on at any one time. So we would expect there to be about 15, 16, 17 tasks to be going on at one time. That could be anything from a boiler breaking down and being replaced, to a washing machine that has the drum stop working, and we have to get an engineer out for them, or fence blown down, damp, mold, all those sorts of things we deal with. And to give you an insight into that is that we had a washing machine that needed replacing in a property in Wickford. I suppose this just shows you the fact that lettings is very much admin, and very much taking the responsibility of looking after the tenant and the property on behalf of the landlord, whatever it takes. And this, I know it's quite a strange example, but the washing machine broke down in a property in Wickford. We went on to Curry's, bought one. Their engineer will also take the old one away and plumb in the new one. Booked it for, I think, the following Monday, so like 3 days later. The washing machine turned up, and it had a big dent in the front of it, but that driver wouldn't take it away. So then we spent 3.5 hours on the phone with Curry's that day to try and get a replacement washing machine, for them to understand that they delivered it broken, but also they didn't even plumb it in. So there was a lot wrong with the service they provided at the time. 3.5 hours we were on the phone with them. Then we managed to get them to agree to come and replace it, which they did. The driver then made his way to my house because I paid for it with my credit card. So therefore, the driver thought he was delivering the washing machine to my house. So we then had to divert him back to Wickford. He went back to Wickford, and this driver apparently was, the customer service side of him really made the job better for the tenant because they walked in, they took the old one away, they plumbed the new one in, they took the old one away and the dented one away, and plumbed it. So it took us about 4 days to get a washing machine changed and about 5.5 hours of our time to do that for our £70 a month for that property. So the value that we provide is massive. Now, obviously, it swings and roundabouts. We've got other properties where we've got tenants who are able to just look after and manage the property themselves without giving us a call out. They'll just sort out a broken cupboard door or a light bulb that's gone. They'll sort themselves. On the rent chasing side, we obviously had a lot of problems the last 12 months, 18 months with tenants dealing with their being furloughed, 80% of income, some being laid off, self-employed, not getting the work on sites. So we had to sort of manage the landlord's expectations with the payments of rents that we were going to receive, and also the empathy and understanding that we had to give to the tenants about their situation that they're in. So it's the rental side. If I was to say to anybody, would you like to start a rental business? At the moment, I'll probably say no, don't do it. But once you're in it and you understand the trials and tribulations of it, it is a very good, stable business to be involved in, but quite scary from the outset if you understand all the nuances of being a letting agent. From that, we then went into sales, and then we sort of fell into that with a landlord saying, would you sell a house for us? So we'd be able to do that for you. Then it was a friend of a relative said, would you sell a house for us? So we'd be able to do that. And from that, we then sold £2.6 million worth of property in about 4 months. And I thought, well, this is another string to our bow, another part of the business, very natural, obviously, to attach to a letting agency. And then I looked at the market, and we then partnered with a company called Keller Williams, which I'm sure I've mentioned to you guys before. They're a global agent, 130,000 associates across the world. Now in the UK, there's 300 partners across in the UK, so a very good network to be part of. And they provide training, support, and a lot of the integrity, if you like, that you need as an estate agent to go out there and make, similar to the way Paul used, with St James's. You've got that backing of a big company to give everybody the confidence you want to deal with. Now I'm going to try and share my screen now just to show you. Hopefully that one. Can everybody see that okay? Yes, good. So this is part of the slideshow. I was going to go through the 6 or 7 slides, but this is the main one, I think, in terms of what we offer as an agent to our vendors. I'm not going to read through every part of that, but one of the most important parts, halfway down there, you see is pricing. And what we've found in the 6 months that I've been working in sales is that a lot of vendors, when you want to sell your house, you'll contact 2 or 3 different agents, which quite rightly so. But what you'll find is quite a range of valuations from those agents. Hopefully, you'll be given the right valuation by those agents, but sometimes agents will give a higher valuation to try and achieve the listing from you as a vendor. Because if I said to you, your property should go on the market at 300,000, another agent says, oh, it should go on at 330, you're going to think, well, let's go with the other agent because it's 330. What happens then is that the property needs to be reduced, and ends up coming down to 300 because that's the market value. So there are 3 parts of that. So the pricing is you get the emotional price, the probable price, and the mathematical price of a property. Now, the emotional is where you as a vendor are, as I said, have the feeling that your property is worth more than it actually is. So therefore, when I come into your house to speak to you, I have to be armed with comparables from other properties, information from the land registry, my experience of the location of that property to give you a proper valuation. Now, if your emotional value is 10, 20, 30, even £50,000 higher than my valuation, then it's unlikely I'm going to get that business. So therefore, I need to sort of educate you as a vendor and help you understand that the price you should be advertising at is the probable price. A lot of agents go in and say, well, what we'll do is we'll advertise your property at 330, but we'll probably achieve 300. Well, which is in my opinion, the wrong way to do it. What you should be doing is advertising at 300, get 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people interested in buying that property, and it might drive the price up to 330. So therefore, you're getting the interest to create the commitment, if you like, from buyers. Finally, is the mathematical price. Now, that's the mathematical is the investor, the vultures sometimes that are hanging around going, well, this property's been on the market for 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 10 weeks, 12 weeks. Let's put an offer in at, it might be 260, 270, which is 10, 15, 20% the asking price of the property. So you've got emotional, probable, and mathematical. I work on the probable, and I base all my valuations on the probable because basically I want to achieve the highest interest for you for your property. And then the way we do that is, let's come off the sharing screen. How do I come off the share screen? Stop, there we go. So how we do that is marketing. We use our network of agents across the UK with Keller Williams. We're obviously on the main portals, which is Rightmove, Zoopla, and On the Market, and the associated sites that come with that, because they will have other sister sites as well, and Facebook as well from time to time. Sales has gone so well, and Ian doesn't even know this yet, but we need to put press release out. I've just taken on 2 agents to now join me. So they are 2 self-employed Keller Williams agents who are now under the James Leigh wing. So they've now, literally from yesterday, will be going out there under the James Leigh banner. And the way we're doing it is that they will be set on their postcode. So Simon will be focused on Coggeshall, which is where he lives. Aaron will be concentrating on Tollgate and that side of Colchester. And obviously myself in St John's will be looking at St John's and Highwards. And that's the aim now, is for me to build up a network of agents around Colchester to really hit the CO postcode, who are dedicated to their communities. So we nurture the roads around them, the Facebook groups, the charities, the local schools, to let them know that we are their local agent and that we are the professional who can provide the expertise and knowledge about their property, and then hopefully go on and sell it. So that's the aim now. So already I can see within a day or two that in 3 months' time I could have 4 agents. 6 months it could be 8 agents building alongside me, and that's where we hopefully will now grow and be able to provide the expertise to any referral that we come in across the say the CO postcode, even from sort of Clacton to Whittam, out to Coggeshall and around. So yes, at the end of the day, the reason that we're here in the network group is to get referrals and hopefully get some business and explain to you about what we do. So if any landlords are struggling with their agents, struggling with their tenants, struggling to get their rent, we're here and happy to help. And if you know anybody that's looking to sell the house, we will sell it for the best price, and use the probable price in our valuation. And I'll say that probably just to finish on is my last 3 sales, the probable price was 200,000 on a 2-bed Mews house in Colchester. I sold for 203. The probable price for a property in Basildon was 275. I sold it at 280. And the probable price for a 5-bedroom house with a swimming pool in Tillingham, very nice bungalow that was 650. I sold for 675. And that's because we got the buyer interest, more than 1, 2, 3 people, bids going in, the price goes up and you achieve the greater price. So yes, please refer me to vendors and to landlords, and we'll go from there.
Thanks, Bob. A quick question for you. You've mentioned a lot of names in your presentation, but the names James and Leigh have not come up, apart from the fact that they're on your logo. Where does the name James Leigh come from?
Well, I am Robert James Burdett, and my wife is Zoe Leigh Burdett, and so James and Leigh comes from.
Okay, interesting.
And I've got my background as well is marketing and internet business, and so I've got a company called James Leigh Consulting. And so when I bought out Temi English to rebrand, I just thought, well, let's do the same name, and so I did James Leigh Property Management, and that will now slightly change, probably to James Leigh Sales and Lettings and Property Management, because obviously moving to the other side of it, the feeling is that if I turn up and say James Leigh Property Management, people think I deal with broken ovens and fences that are blown down. So I think we need to add the word sales and lettings into that now. So.
Graham, you beat me to that question. That's exactly what I was going to ask. But what I was going to say, Bob, was that I really like that approach that you've got there, and I can see why you're gaining traction and gaining new business, and it'll go well for you. And I think it's very easy for us to recommend you going forward. It's I mentioned to you recently that I thought one of my clients might be able to use you, but unfortunately he's already instigated his letting agent who also does the sales. So someone does a similar role to you. But
and it's, we all know that once people do business with you as an individual, that they won't go away because of the service we provide. And it's everything is that initial introduction, isn't it? So once you work with somebody, you know that they won't go anywhere else because of the service we provide, unless something really falls out of bed that the personalities clash after a period of time or something. But I haven't lost a landlord in 6 years. Every single landlord has stayed with me. The vendors that I've dealt with for the last 3 or 4 months and sold their houses, they are over the moon with the service that we've provided, and that's reflected in the relationship we now have. Actually, I'm trying to sell my mum's flat in Holland-on-Sea at the moment, and I'm struggling to sell it. So the person that doesn't like me the most at the moment is my mum. But anybody wants a 2-bedroom flat looking out to sea in Holland-on-Sea, it's what I want to say.
Good luck with that.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
It was only my husband and I were having this conversation after he was in a meeting. If basically we go to a church, and my husband's one of the directors of this lot of churches, and they're thinking of renting out the manse. And I said, I know someone that might be able to help with that. And my husband was like, oh yeah, the administrator will probably just go to someone like Hare and Sons. So what would your benefit be over some high street branch? Is it the service, or I don't know, this is from not knowing anything kind of thing.
Well, yeah, absolutely, and you're right there, Karen, that the service we provide is second to none. My right hand girl Athena has been with me for 5 years. We both have the same outlook. She'll wake up at 4 a.m. and send emails to people. She'll be printing paperwork off at 10 o'clock at night, ready for the next day. I think that the mantra that we have just ingrained in us is to provide a service to somebody that so that they don't feel that they want anything. Sometimes it's to the detriment of our cost. I'm managing a property at the moment down in Beach Road in Clacton that had a completely refurb down, just put the door on it. But we've been managing it for a year with contractors going in and out and insurance jobs going on. I've charged like £35 a month to manage that. And I have to drive to Clacton and back once a month for as a minimum. So but just to keep that the guy lives abroad. So we go over the top almost, as I say. If somebody actually looked at my books and went, "Oh, you're doing it for that? Why are you doing it for that?" So it's because it's ingrained in us that we want to provide the service to the customer at the end of the day.
And I think that's the ethos certainly where I work. It is all about the service. It's about that service and getting back to clients and not leaving them hanging for 2 weeks. And that's I will try my best.
Okay, no, fine. Well, even if there's, like what I say to everybody, even if there's a question that comes up that they want a second opinion on, so even if it does go to another company and that company says something, you say, "Oh, is that right? Ask me. I'm happy to give an opinion on it myself." So from that point of view, so I don't mind business going elsewhere, but what I want you to have is the right answers in front of you. So.
That's fine. It was purely, as I say, my husband came off the meeting about 9:30 and he came up with, I was like, yes, I know someone.
The point is, I've just got a landlord who phoned us yesterday who's just bought another property in Colchester, with a sitting tenant in it, so it's great. They've got rent coming in, but they said, "Oh, there was no agreement. There's no deposit." I'm like, "Oh no." So she said, "But so the vendor's now done a off the internet agreement with their friend who lives in the property. There's no deposit. So would you like to take over and manage it for me?" And I'm like, and I'm going, "Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, great." And inside I'm going, "Oh no." I just know there's going to be so much trouble with taking that on. But absolutely, the front of the shop to my landlord is 100% be delighted to take it on for you and help you with that one. But I know that it's going to take hours of work to get that property legislation correct, the paperwork correct, and the tenant to understand how we work, so that they're on our side as well. And then she says, well, the rent at the moment is 685. I'd like it to be 725. So she's putting that onus on us now to go to the tenant that nobody knows to say, you've got a new owner, they want to put the rent up by £40 a month.